Alright, so it's been a long time since I updated everybody. What we got here is an early style M22 Rock Crusher 4-speed that's been completely rebuilt. All new gears, all new bearings. It's an original case, and it's got a vintage Hurst shifter, 4-speed shifter. I forget it. Competition Plus, vintage Competition Plus 4-speed shifter. So if I'll just update the YouTube channel a little bit here. The reason we got that is because we picked up another car. This is it's in the garage. I'll get it out later so you can see it, but this is a 66 Chevelle that we picked up. Me and James are gonna do a little work to it. It's a mess in there right now. I've got all the center console stuff out so I can get the 4-speed back in, but it's a pretty nice car. It was really nice at one time. It belonged to a family member, and he just kind of got ill and stopped taking care of it and left it sit outside a little bit. So it does need a little bit. Door panel, seat's got a rip. The carpet's actually pretty good. It just needs cleaned. The interior is pretty nice. Otherwise, the gauges and everything work. Headliner in the back there's got a little stretch action, but the back seat's in really good condition. And here's the thing that people will really appreciate if you know old cars, and it's just listen to this. That is right there. You hear that? That is everything when you're looking at an old car. That tells you how straight the chassis is. I think it does. I think it tells you basically how well it was taken care of. I mean, it's not everything, but if a car has doors that shut nice like that, it's a deal. So it's a pretty stock 396 66 Chevelle. It's got little issues, like I said. It needs a little bit of work, but it's pretty much all there. Put this up here, and it is a big block car. It is a 66 year 396. It's not the original motor. That was long gone when my stepdad bought this. It came out of a I believe it was 60 something Impala, I think it's 66, like I said. You know, it actually was completely rebuilt and probably only has about 400 or 500 miles on it, but like I said, this car spent 10 years sitting outside. It's pretty stock. It's got I believe that's like a knockoff Edelbrock aluminum intake, and it's got it does have a bigger cam in it. It's a hydraulic flat tappet. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to get a hold of my stepdad. Well, my stepdad's trying to get a hold of the engine guy. He's passed, but he's trying to find out a little bit about it, see if he can find the build sheets and stuff on it. I believe it's an Urson, older, solid flat tappet hydraulic cam. It is stock as shit. I mean, it has stock manifolds on it, stock exhaust basically. This is just bird shit and stuff. Like I said, the car's been sitting outside, but it is really nice straight wise. It does have a little bit, and like I said, the doors just like that. I mean, that is so nice. Gaps are pretty good. We'll mess with that a little bit. It does have this here, just right there and right there. A little bit of that going on, which is, I've had one of these before. That's pretty typical for a Chevelle this year model around the window rails. Now inside here is pretty good. There, it's got a little bit peeking through. Spot there, spot there. Other than that, it's pretty good. I've got two sets of wheels and tires for it. I've got the original rally style with the red lines on it right now. It does have it does actually also have a set of Anson slots for it that are vintage. They're from like the 70s, I think, 60s or 70s. They're pretty old. They're on it also, but I didn't. I pulled them off because one of the tires is a little dry rotted. So, but the reason we're doing this is because that's one of the reasons I got the car a little cheaper than what I should have. The transmission was making a noise, and it had a pretty bad driveline vibration. So these things, if you don't do anything to the rear suspension and control arms, they will wheel hop. And this one being a big block car with a 12-bolt rear and 488 gears, they put a sticky set of 275s on it. These aren't it, but he had started, I guess they were doing a burnout and launching it. It wheel hopped really bad. And give me a sec, if you look under here, it actually cracked the entire bell housing all the way. And then I noticed it was leaking transmission fluid. So I pulled the old transmission out, and of course the whole case was cracked. So we got us a new rebuilt M22, which is a little tougher. Actually, this one's a lot tougher. It's got aftermarket high nickel gears in it. The guy that builds these is very, very good. It's all he does. It's all he's done for a long time. So, if you look here on the underside of the car, the floor pans, there's really no good way to do this. There we go. The floor pans are really, really nice. Like I said, it's just got a 2.5-inch, whatever the stock style exhaust is. I think they're just some like cheap ass thrush, not chambered turbo mufflers on it. We're going to be doing a little bit to this, but we're not going to go over the top with it because we've got two that are over the top. We've got the Nova and we've got the truck, which I'll update you guys on that later today. It does have a 12-bolt rear. That is one thing we are going to change. It's got a 12-bolt rear with 488 gears and with a 4-speed and a 1-to-1 final ratio on it, and it's a big block. This thing is cooking. It's a little much for what I'm trying to do. This is like kind of like a put the whole family in it and go to a car show car deals thing. So I think what we're going to end up doing to this is probably putting a set of 373s in it. Because I still don't want it to be a punk, but I don't need it to, I need it to go faster than 70 and get, you know, a little better gas mileage being a big block car, but I mean more along the lines of range, and I don't want to spin the shit out of that poor motor. That poor little guy is, you know, he probably makes 400, maybe 4.25, because the heads were down a little bit. It's got the bigger set of not peanut port, the 781 ovals I think are on it. It's not bad. I'll get this in there and have a startup video for y'all later. Let me get back out of here. Oh, yeah, don't mind that. That's I had a Corsa when he didn't like to be down here one day. He ate my door. I don't know if I've updated anybody on this. This is the Nova 67. I picked that up a couple years ago. Slowly been gathering parts and tinkering with it. That has a 9-inch. It's currently ladder bars, but we're going to switch that back to leaf springs for stock style suspension racing. I did spring for a completely badass Smith race calf front clip for it. It's got Viking coilovers. This is a really, really nice deal if you have an older style Nova, Camaro, anything with a unibody. Don't mess with the stock shit. Just go spend the money. I know it hurts when you first do it, but I mean, you get true rack and pinion steering. You get this awesome coilover setup, way more suspension travel, and it takes 120 pounds off the front end. What else we got laying around here? Okay, yeah, right there is the next project. That is a 6.2 liter LS. I had the 5.3 that we swapped in blacktruck. It's okay, but it's a pooch. I mean, it's faster than the Chevelle, but it's still not what I wanted to do. I mean, that thing ran in, you know, that thing was pretty quick before with the small block in it, and now with the 5.3, it's a turd. So I picked up a 6.2. I sent the heads to my friend's machine shop. He's got a 5-axis Centroid and some really good programs for it, so he's going to port the heads we're gonna stick a big ass Texas Speed roller cam in it and go probably hurt some feelings with it. I've got the Holly Terminator X still on the truck and all that, so that's all set up for that. So it won't be too bad of a swap. But I think once we do that, black truck's done, and we can focus on this one. Once we figure out this one, which if this thing does end up being an absolute punk, which I'm not sure, because like I said, this is 10-year-old spark plug wires, 10-year-old spark plugs. It's really not even broken in yet. The carburetor is, needs a little bit of love. So, and I'm probably gonna end up over the winter pulling this out and just cleaning up the engine bay. I mean, it looks like it's been through a fire, but it's old. But it is pretty cool if you look at it to see how they did it back in the, mildly did it back in the 60s and 70s. Like the guy I got this from, he's a child of the 60s, 50s and 60s. He's got he does stuff old school. So it's it's pretty cool to see how they did it. They put a cam and aluminum high rise and a 4-speed and jack the rear up and do all that kind of shit and think they had something, which they did back then, but times have changed. So we changed with the times. We're going to be putting disc brakes on this deal too, because my wife actually does want to drive it. So obviously drum brakes are gonna not good. I've had one of these with drum brakes and a single pot master cylinder before, and that was a small block car, and that was a real punk. That thing was slower than shit, and I'm telling you, I had way too many pump and pray and grab the e-brake and hope you make it times, lock one tire up and all that shit. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna put a disc brake kit on the front, and if the motor on this thing does end up being too much of a punk, please don't mind my mess. There's the slots you can see I have on it. I just so happen to have that, and that's a 505 cubic inch big block Chevy. It's 11 and a half or so to 1 compression. It's got Dart 360 heads on it. It's got a huge solid roller cam, single plane intake. It came out of a guy's mud racing truck. It's a little bit more than what that 396 is. So, that's why we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of the car figured out before we put that in there, because if we put that in there right now, we would just break shit or kill ourselves. So, and then it's a beautiful day on the farm, other than it rained and ruined my whole hay crop. There's the old Nova front end, and then there's black truck looking all sexy with a bunch of shit in the back, but it still looks good. I'll show you. I don't know if I did a video of this yet. We did a shakedown LS swap on it. It's just a little 5.3. It's got cam. I believe it's a BTR stage 3 or 4 in it. I bought it running for cheap just to figure out the LS swap deal. Ran the Terminator X harness through the old firewall plug. Not real happy with the wiring of it, but I just kind of wanted to get it running, not really get it right. So that's kind of what we did. We moved the transmission cooler up to the front because we had that one remote mounted with a fan on the back when we had the small block in it, and it was just not keeping transmissions happy under the bed. I tried to even angle it and duct air to it, and I just got tired of messing with it, so we moved it up to the front of the radiator. Don't have any overheating issues, even with it's a pretty big transmission cooler. You can't see it. It's a Hayden, and I believe it's for some kind of Dodge truck. It's like a 30 or 35,000 GVW truck transmission cooler, so it's a monster. And it should keep, and it did have its own fan on it, but that burned up, so we took that off and just put it here, and that big spall will keep her cool. But it's still got the same turbo 350 with a shift kit. That transmission's been through a lot, but it's still got that. I did run new hard lines for the transmission cooler because I was tired of chasing flexible line leaks. We will be putting a regular factory transmission dipstick on that too, because I don't like that flexible shit. It leaks, or it just always gives you some sort of issue. Then it's still got the split monos, Calvert racing springs, Caltrack bars, and then it's got a, I did pull a little converter out of it. It had a 4500 in it before with the small block. This little motor here, we just put a 38 in it. It's still a lot of converter, but 430 gears, and it's still fun on the street. I mean, it's not slow. I'm still learning the tuning aspects of the Holley software. I actually do have an air filter for it. Don't worry, it comes up and around and down. I just, I just took it off not too long ago, actually. But this thing does have pretty good stuff on it. It's got a no limit front suspension. It's coilovers. It's got the rack and pinion. I'm gonna do something with that steering shaft too. We kind of did that to get it to work. It works. It actually steers really nice. I've always had to use a support bearing on it, but I bought a set of Hedman Hustler fender well headers for an S10 that will fit this perfectly, and they'll go up and down into there. But Hedman, if you're listening to me, there's a lot of people that are doing LS swaps. Why do you not make a set of fender well headers for LS motor in a truck? You already have them for the S10. Put them on, change the flanges. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to my shop and we're gonna laser out LS flanges, and we're gonna cut the flanges off of the Hedman headers and weld the LS flanges on them. That way the headers will go up, down, and down the side, and I can put hater pipes out the sides to let everybody know we're here to party. But that's about it. Not too much else going on here. Farm's looking great though. It's a nice day when it's not raining, and hopefully it stops. We just had a spritz, but I got some hay down, so I'm hoping that stops soon. Anyway, I just thought I'd update you from the channel and let you all know where we're going. The tunnel ram and small block is no longer in this. It is LS swapped. I'm not sure if I'm sold on it yet. As of now, I'm kind of not, other than the fuel injection's really nice, and but it is nowhere near as fast as what was in it before. But we're gonna put that 6.2 in with ported heads, and hopefully that'll make it a little faster. If that doesn't, I'm gonna put a kit on it and spray the connecting rods through the street, because I've got a 408 cubic inch solid roller, bullet cam, nasty ass small block sitting around. So if the old 6.2 or doesn't do it, then we're gonna go back to a small block. But I think the 6.2 is gonna do it. I've read a lot about them. I've looked into them. I have friends that run them, and they're pretty amazing. So that's it, guys. Hope you all have a nice day.